Welcome back to the Lost Plane channel. This is a YouTube channel that lost planes legal concepts with a dose of sarcasm. Today we are going to Lost Plane how to run a loss-making airline 101. Kenya Airways, a national airline partly owned by the Kenyan government and the Air France KLM, has been on the brink of state bailouts over its consistent loss-making. This has been exacerbated by its choice of a lesser evil of losing Kenya shillings 300 million, equivalent $2.5 million a day, over a labor dispute impasse with 400 pilots. The Pilot Association, CAPLA, and airline management have been on a labor dispute impasse that culminated in court. On 31st October 2022, the airline welcomed a court injunction putting a cease on the strike that was planned by pilots. November 2022, over 12,000 passengers were left stranded at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi, and over 56 flights were subsequently cancelled over an industrial strike by 400 pilots in a move that was termed by the government as economic sabotage. The 400 pilots, who make up only 10% of the workforce, went on a 14-day strike that will see the airline lose $2.5 million a day. The pilots raised the following demands. Number 1 is a reinstatement of contractual pension provident fund that was suspended during the COVID pandemic to ensure the airline was a going concern. The pilots prefer that the collective amount required for the reinstatement is Kenya shillings 60 million for all the 3,800 staff of the airline. This amount is only a fifth of the amount the airline is losing daily due to the strike. Demand number 2 is the implementation of pay agreements in accordance with the collective bargain agreement and the clauses of the Kenya Civil Aviation Regulation. This includes payment of the deferred salaries over the pandemic period. And number 3 is the resignation of the airline CEO Alan Kilavuka and chairman Michael Joseph over allegations of mismanagement over the airline and the handling of the labor dispute. On 7th November 2022, the airline announced the advertisement against pilots who were on the prohibited strike. The airline warned that those pilots were in contempt of court orders and that the strike was prohibited by a competent employment and labor relations court. On 8th November 2022, the court summoned the CALPA officials to appear in court for disobeying court orders and participating in a prohibited strike, contrary to Section 78 of the Labor Act 2007, and directed that they resume work on 9th November 2022. Pilots have currently resumed work while they resolve the labor dispute in court.